Hello, 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 hello. How are you? This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and I've been getting a lot of, hey, would you do a paper bag journal? So we're actually going to be doing a few of them. We're going to be doing a few paper bag projects, but we're going to start with this. It's going to be just a quick little kind of paper bag clutch journal folio. Does that make sense? So what we're going to be doing. Anyway, so it's going to open up, and you're going to have like a journal in here and some pockets. And then a little closure, so it looks sort of like a purse. And I'm going to show you how I did this, how I formed it, and then we're going to decorate it and do all that stuff. So I will be right back. So, bag, 2 of them. Okay, mine are 9.5 by 6 1/4, and I think they're like 2.5 inches thick when you open them. That doesn't really matter. But just under 2.5. It's like 2 1/4. Okay, so we're going to need those. We're going to need a paper trimmer. We are going to need some paper to decorate with, bone folder, scoring tool, scoring board, pair of scissors, ink and a dauber glue, and ephemera. Okay, so I'm going to kind of clear everything out here. We're going to get out our bags, and we're going to get started. I'm going to show you how we're going to prep those, because we're actually going to cut one down, and it's kind of weird, but I'm going to go ahead and get that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty. So obviously, when we look at our prototype, it is wider than our bag, and it is considerably longer. So we're going to do that first. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to take one of our bags, and we're just going to take off this bottom piece completely. Okay? So I'm just going to press that with my bone folder, and then I'm going to put it in my trimmer. And I'm going to take that piece off. That's the piece at the bottom of the bag. We're going to take that part off, okay? Getting rid of that for the moment. Now, we're going to open our bag and pull out those folds on the side. Okay? We want these out. Now just press those down. You don't have to get fancy here and iron them or anything. Just press them down. Okay? And you're going to see that you have a natural line here. That line's going to come into play in a minute. Now, on the other one, we're going to open our bag. Now, this can be a little fiddly. Alright? Because we're going to open this one just like we opened that one. But we need to create that little look. So, there's a natural score where the bag folds normally, and we want to keep that. So we're going to press those points where the bag folds in. I'm going to press those out, okay? And like I said, this could be a little fiddly, so just fiddle with it. And fold this part down. If you fold that down, it actually makes this easier, okay? All right. pressing that open. Okay. Now, we're going to glue this down. Now, if you want to use tape, go ahead. Put some tape on there. But I'm going to glue that down. And then, remember that little, like, ½ inch there? That is where our glue is going to go on this side. All right. Now, if you have to get this fit in there, if you're having problems, just wedge the edges, okay? So that's going to go in there. And that's where we're going to put our glue. Turn it over, and we're going to glue it on the other side. Now, depending upon your bag, this measurement the next measurements could be different. So first things first, I'm going to let this dry, okay? I want this to completely dry before we move on to the next part. So now that we've got our bag set up, we will go ahead and let it dry, and then we're going to move on. I'll be back. So the next part of this is folding it up. Now, I kind of like to use this part as where my spine is going to be. So for me, that's about a 6-inch fold. If I want to make that slightly less, I can just trim a little off the end here. But we're going to like fold that over. Make sure that it lines up top and bottom, and then just burnish it with the bone folder. And then we're going to fold this part over. Again, top and bottom. And then just burnish that fold. Okay? So now we have like our little flap, and then the rest of our piece, okay? So now I'm going to ink. I'm going to ink all the way around the outside, all the way, and I'm going to do the inside as well, okay? So once I get all that done, I'll be back. All right, so now we're going to want this part to be a pocket. But, you know, if we open it, things are just going to go all the way to the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just kind of open this up, put my hand in here, and I'm just going to glue right at, like right along that fold on the inside, okay? And then press it down. Okay, there we go. Now, that's a pocket, and it doesn't go, you know, any further in, all right? Now, also, if this is flapping up for you, you may want to glue that down. It's not important because we're probably going to cover it, but if you want to glue that down, do that as well. And just make sure that, you know, all of your little flaps and everything are all glued down, and let the whole thing dry. And then when we come back, we are going to work on covering this. Okay? Dry away. All right, so now you have decisions. Do you want to cover the entire space, or do you want to leave, you know, like a little matting? I like mats, so I'm going to leave mats. So I'm going to do a little measuring here. And my bag from side to side is 8.5, and my piece is 6. So I'm going to go 8.25 by 5 3/4. So first things first, I'm going to get rid of my white spots, and then I'm going to trim this down. And you can use your paper trimmer. I just like to do it this way because it's just faster than having to fight with my paper trimmer. So 8 1/4 tall. And then five and 3/4. Now, because I hand folded this and I didn't score it, I'm going to measure each panel. Okay, so once I have my piece cut and inked, I will put it down. Now, at this point, pause the video. If you're working along, you're going to want to pause this video and go and do this part, okay? Now you're just going to do these 4, these 2, and the 2 on the other side, okay? So I've got one here. I'm going to cut one for here. I'm not worried about this yet. This we'll worry about in a minute. So just these 4, this side and the other side, okay? So I'm going to go do that, and then I'll be back. Now, I have my papers on the outside, my papers on the inside. We have this flap left to do, and we're going to do that. Now, we have to decide if we want to do that like in the same base paper that we used on the rest of this. And if we do, are we going to keep it going in the same direction? Do we want to use some of our decorated paper to do that? We want it to go that way or that way. And also, I do have some ephemera pieces for this set. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these. Let's see. I'm going to use some of the flowers. So, to do that, I know that my distance here is 8 1/2, so I have to go 8 1/4. This little part here, we're going to work on that, 8 1/4, and then it is 4 inches, so 3 3¾ okay? So I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4. And I'm going to clean up these outside edges, and I'm going to cut this piece down to 8 1/4, okay? And once I'm done with that, and I'm going to cut 2, one for the inside, one for the outside. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to come back and I'll have it ready to go, and we'll do the steps to get that piece, that diamond piece, okay? All right, so to get this to line up properly, because I want that on there, and I want it to be, you know. So what I'm going to do is put it center here, and then I'm going to double the distance there. And then I'm going to trace. Okay? So I just have to decide, you know, how I want this to look. Do I want my flowers going this way, or do I want my flowers going that way? And I think I want them going that way. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the center, mark my pieces, and I'm just going to take those off. And then it's going to fit right there. Okay, so now I'm going to ink it. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to ink this up and put it down. I'll be back. Alright, so now I have this covered. We have a nice big pocket here on the end, huge pocket. We have a nice space here. You could actually write on this if you wanted to. And we have our little flap. Now, a couple of things we need to look at. Closures. How are we going to put a closure on this? Not a problem. That's going to happen. Okay? The other thing is we're going to put some paper in here so that you can actually write things. So we're going to be putting paper in, and we need to decorate. Okay? So I have these nice pieces, a couple of pockets and things. We're going to get those cut out. We also have the rest of the paper pack, you know, that we can use for making little pockets and tucks and things like that. So we're going to be using these as well. They're just gorgeous. And I don't want to not use them. So we're going to be using those. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cut out. And I will be back in just a few minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started on decorating while we let this dry. I'm going to cut and ink all of this. Okay? I'll be back. Alright, so everything has dried all the way. I've got my end pieces on. Look at that, right? Okay, so next thing we're going to do is some decorating. I'm going to put the link to this paper set, this one, in the description. Now here's the deal. This is not the same paper. That actually came from another kit, which I believe is this one. And so these are, some of these are Bible quotes, but some of them are just, you know, you're stronger than you know. She believed she could, so she did. You know, just some, like, positive reinforcement things. We have some tags that are positive reinforcement. We've got those. And we have, of course, all of our pockets and things and stuff that we're going to be using to put in here. So, I want to put in some journaling pages, but I also want to put in some decorations. So we're going to do the decorating first, then we'll put in some journaling pages, okay? So remember, we have this big pocket over here so we can make giant journaling cards. So I have these big pieces, you know, some rather big pieces that we can use to make some big journaling cards to put in there. And it's a nice big pocket, so, you know, these will all fit, and then we'll be able to take those out and write on them as we need to, okay? So, you can use this for Bible journaling. You can use this just for, you know, affirmations, whatever it is. So let's go ahead and let's put some of the pockets in here. Okie dokie. So, I'm not going to use the scoreboard for this. We're just going to do it, you know, kind of freehand. I'm just going to put my ruler where it needs to be and just kind of run over that. And that. Now, if you want to make this a little bit more durable, put it on cardstock. Lightweight cardstock. Okay. If you think the paper you printed it on is good enough, then by all means use that, okay? And let's see. Take this bottom piece off. And that. We're just using this for the background, you know. Just add a little color to what we put here. And because this is a paper bag, every piece we add just gives it a little bit more stability. Okay? Just makes it thicker and more stable. Now, in all fairness, in the final cut, I will probably speed this part up. Oh, I forgot to ink that. How do we handle that? That's right. We get out our ink card, and we get our dauber. We put our ink card right on our edge. Ink. There we go. Because I forget all the time. All right, we have our little label here. This one's cute. It just says notes. Journal. All right, we're going to put notes on this one. Okay. Notes, which I think is fitting because there's music paper on there. All right. And we're going to kind of do the same thing, you know, throughout. Add a little washi tape here and there. Just kind of decorate it up. And when I come back, we're going to work on those journal cards real quick. And then I'll get this finished. So I'll be right back. All right, so some of the larger ones, I went ahead and like really matted those. And the way that I do that is I just measure the piece and then I add 1/4 of an inch for each mat on the length and the width. And then, you know, you can just put regular card on the back. And then I have these that are a little smaller, probably gonna go in pockets. So I'm just going to put these onto plain cardstock. And let them dry, and then I'll cut them out. So let me see here what I've got. I do have some yellow. No, I don't want to do it on yellow. I have some coffee dyed index card. That would work. Oh yeah, we can get both of those on there, so put those on there. This one. There. I don't think I'm going to use that one. Just not feeling it. Okay, so now we have our tags and journaling cards. And again, these are just on paper, so I'm probably going to want to put these on some cardstock. So I'm going to use tea-dyed cardstock, so I'll get some of that out. And I'm going to finish putting in pockets. So for these, like I said, this one, I'm probably just going to cut this out just the way it is. These as well. Just because they're, you know, they're going to be okay. And they're probably going into a pocket. So I will just trim these out now that I've got them glued down. We'll trim them out, and then we'll ink these, and they'll go into pockets and, you know, tuck spots, that kind of thing. And then we have the bigger ones to go into the big pocket. Ooh, that one did not want to cut. It's okay, we have scissors. All right, there we go. So then we'll just ink that, and it'll be perfect to go into the pocket. See? This will fit right in here. Okay, so now I'm going to finish up these and get some backs on my tags and my journal cards that I have here, because these are all going in. All right, I will be back. All right, since this is like for, you know, keeping just small, like, thoughts, journal, you know, maybe prayer requests, things like that. Things that you may find in your daily life that you want. We're going to put in some paper. Now, I'm only going to put in about 5 sheets, which will give you 20 pages to write on. But the reason that I'm only putting in a small amount is because, you know, you're going to make one of these like every month. If you want to make one of these every month, you don't want them to be bulky. Okay? So, and I'm going to do a simple 3 stitch on this. I know I never do that, but I'm going to do it on this because it's not very heavy. All right. So we're just going to do a simple 3 stitch pamphlet on this. Okay, so now we have some paper in there. Okay, now we can finish kind of filling this up. So I made one of our little envelopes up here with a paper clip, and I put in some more pockets. We have our journal cards. Now we have our nice big ones that are going to go in this big pocket over here. Okay. We have these little cards. Let me see. I think I did like 4 or 5 of them. So we'll ink those up real quick. And they're just plain papered on the back with some of my tea dyed cardstock, so it's a little bit more gold colored than we usually get. But I had a few extra sheets. So you could round the corners on these if you want. You can leave them just the way they are. It's entirely up to you. But these little guys, because they're not very large, and the reason they're not very large is because normally you get 6 cards on a sheet, but this particular designer put 8. So those can go up there, and they fit in there rather nicely. And then we have these, which you can finish off if you want, or not. It's up to you. I'm not going to finish these off because that'll just make it more bulky. But we're going to go ahead and put these in this pocket. And then, I think that's enough. We're going to put these little postcard ones in here with that little card, which I think will be cute. And we have plenty of room in there because it's a nice big pocket. And the thing with these are, all of the pockets are gusseted, so nice big pockets for things. Okay? We're going to go ahead and put that in there. I do love this one. So I'm going to trim this one. I like the edge on it. I can't help myself. I like the deckled edge. So I'm just going to keep the deckled edge. Go. Link. And I think we'll just, you know, paper clip that on. Ooh, that's a little paper clip. We're just going to add this to this page. We'll just paper clip it. Doesn't have to be in there spectacularly. We don't really want to do a lot with these because, you know, this is like for writing. So we got some tags and journal cards. We've got some bigger journal cards. We've got huge ones. We've got a little tuck space up here. So we have all of this wonderful stuff. And we can do more decorating. We can add more stuff to the outside if we want to. You know, we have beautiful paper and we can add more if we want. That is entirely up to you. So, how are we going to close this? Well, that's something entirely different. I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm going to clean up my mess. I'll be back. I'll show you how we're going to close this. Alright, so closure doesn't need to be difficult. We're just going to take a piece of crinkled seam binding and put it through right there where we stitched. And we're just going to tie this in a pretty little bow. That's it. That's it. That's the whole thing. There it is. Your paper bag journal. This one we did for, you know, prayers and gratitude. But, you know, it is entirely up to you what you want to theme yours. That's it. That's all I got. All right. So if you're new, push the button for me and subscribe. Like my video. That works too. Also, don't forget to check out my community tab here on the YouTube channel. It tells you everything that I've got going on. And there's some links to my Facebook group and things like that in the description box below. Thank you so much. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye.